Hey, good morning, guys. Joshua Siley here. I'm coming to you early this morning doing our week 4 video as opposed to doing the actual writing form. We're going to do it by video this week, and that is all right. This week, obviously, on values and value systems, and I've got my notes here just to kind of go back and forth. But I'll ramble. I always ramble. That's just what I do. The very first thing that jumped out to me, there was a little quote at the beginning, and it kind of explained a little bit about what values or value systems are. It just said, or something important about this. Learning the main value of a culture is essential for the successful intercultural communication exchanges. And I believe that to be true. I feel like that we don't take enough time to learn one another's values and cultural differences. And quite honestly, we probably don't do that because we don't care. We're very individualistic people. We care about ourselves more than the group or the whole. And so we're just going to stick with what we know and what we're comfortable with, and we don't take enough time to learn about other people. And unfortunately, that causes a lot of miscommunication, a lot of disagreements, a lot of arguments, hate, things like that down the road, racism, and so that's just kind of what jumped out to me at first. The author here spoke about what perception is: selective, learned, culturally determined, consistent, and accurate. And to me, the two things that jumped out to me in that again were racism and were hate, and those things are definitely learned. They're selective, and they're culturally determined things for sure. I did find it pretty neat that when it talked about the makeup of a person started with their beliefs, and the beliefs became their values, and the values turned into their behavior, and that makes so much sense to me in that order for sure, starting with what one truly believes, and your beliefs are, whether they can be proven or not. That's kind of what you feel in your core. It makes sense to me that those turn into what you value or how you treat other people and that sort of thing, and into your behavior and into what you become. But I wanted to throw some disagreement out with the Coles American Value comparison with some specific numbers here. I guess I'll say I'll disagree with them just based on me personally, and then some of what I see happening as I've gotten older in the country. I think things are changing a little bit, but like me personally, I value human interaction over time or time's control, and he's got it the other way around in his list. It's I guess as I've gotten older, I take things a little slower, and I'm not a grandpa by any means, but I do take things a little slower, and I have more, or I add more value to my human interactions, and I appreciate those more as I've gotten older. I do think that the overall group's welfare is more important than an individual's welfare and privacy, or individualism and privacy. And I think that the recent, white nationalist terrorist attacks inside our country, or terrorist attacks coming from outside of our country, we place a lot of emphasis or importance on what we would call freedom in the United States, and that allowing that huge amount of privacy or just staying out of everybody's business leads to opportunities for these things to happen. And so I think as a country we're kind of evolving into we're placing more emphasis on our group welfare than we are on an individual's privacy. And we're picking up phones if we see something weird, and we're calling and we're alerting authorities and that sort of thing, and that's a good thing in my opinion. And I'm kind of a combination. Number 12, it talked about idealism and practicality, and I'm kind of a combination of both of those things. I'm definitely an idealist, but I guess as a father and a husband, I've learned to be very practical. as well. And I'm also a mix of materialistic and spiritualistic. I don't value really one over the other. I know Americans are a very materialistic people, but I have seen a turn where people are they want to enjoy experiences more than things, so they're foregoing the fancy watches and purses and the really expensive cars, and they're going on trips, or they're traveling the world and getting to experience more things. I am very much that way. I'm very much an experienced person more than I'll go shop at Goodwill. It doesn't bother me at all. But I really want to have a nice dinner. I want to enjoy good food or good drinks, or visit a place in the country or outside the country I've never been with my wife, more than I would want to spend money on something just to be shiny or show off or something like that. But high context cultures and low context cultures. I found that very interesting as well. I actually got online here and did some research. I wanted to take a look at that list of countries from top to bottom. Japan being at the top, and then the Scandinavian countries at the bottom there. I wanted to see how many words were actually in their languages, and it pretty much proves to be true that the high context cultures, they have fewer words in their language. They definitely are not using their words as much as others. Not so much because they don't have them. They're just probably over time hasn't been a need to have them. They're communicating in other ways, and so I found that to be pretty interesting. The amount of words in the English language, it continued to pop up that we had more words in our language than any other language, and I do think we talk a lot. I think we talk so much because we like to hear ourselves talk, not so much we're trying to get a point across or something like that. And I got a little story of my past one of my mentors, past business mentors, Jeff Mahmood. He used to tell us all the time, and I worked for Jeff for about 3.5, 4 years, and he would tell us all the time, don't say something in 5 sentences that you can say in 3 sentences. And he was the same about writing also, just in communication. If you can communicate a point clearly, concisely, and compellingly in 3 sentences, then don't do it in 5. And Jeff was from Pakistan, and so he definitely Jeff was a talker, but I just wonder how much of his perception of things played on him saying that to us all the time. But our leadership team, we were all talkers, and that's kind of what it was. When you get a bunch of sales people in a room, they all are going to talk and that sort of thing. And then I'll finish up with the face and the face work thing. I'm kind of torn on this one. I think we all want to save face and stuff like that. We don't want to, we'll hold ourselves back from saying things that we think might cause a stir, or we apologize. Anything we can do to save face. And something that I used to tell my people all the time is, you're always selling yourself. Anytime that you are interacting with another person, you're selling yourself at all times. So if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you need to save face, something like that, but it's going against what you really feel like you should candidly say, I think it's almost better to not worry about saving face. I think it's better just to be candid, to be open, to be honest. And if people are going to buy into you, they're going to buy into the real you, not the fake you. So I guess that's my little spiel on saving face. But very good week this week. I appreciate it. I hope everybody had fun and learned. And I apologize, my video is 9 minutes long. Enjoy.